All right, you guys, back to unit circle. Convert each of the following angle measures as specified below. Then in radians, identify another angle that is coterminal with the given angle. Use exact values. Okay, so that's cool. 48 degrees to radians. So just always start off. I know that there are pi radians and 180 degrees is equal to, what am I looking at, radians? So I have 48 degrees, so x is going to be where my radians are. So then I just cross multiply, so x times 180 is 180. X equals pi times 48. Then divide both sides by 180. So x equals, and when we have radians, we're just going to want to keep the pi there. So what we need to do is really just take this fraction and reduce it. So let's just take half and half. So we have 24 over 90, and I know 3 can go into both of those. So we have 8 over, how many times can 3 go into 90? 30? Is that right? Yes. And then half of that is 4 over 15. So we have 4 pi over 15. And that's going to be the actual radians. And then you need something that is coterminal to that, so that ends, another angle that ends in the same spot with the given angle. So 4 pi over 15 is less than half a pi, so it's going to be somewhere in the first quadrant. So let's say that that's 4 pi over 15. Okay. And then what's a coterminal angle with it? Well, we can just do negative if we go this way. We have it ends in the same spot. It's just going to be negative. So a coterminal angle is going to be negative. And if I have 4 15s this way, then I have negative 11 pi over 15 backwards, right? So if you think of this whole circle has to be 15 out of 15. And if this is 4 out of 15, then the opposite direction is 11 out of 15. And together, 11 plus 14 adds up to 15. One's positive, one's negative, so they end at the same exact spot. Okay? And let me erase this to give us some more space. And here we go. Negative 500 degrees to radian. So it's just going to be negative. But we know we have pi radians is the same as 180 degrees. And if I have negative 500 degrees, how many radians is that? So cross multiply, I have 180 times x is equal to negative 500 pi. Divide both sides by 180, and we reduce if we just reduce. X is equal to, it's going to be negative, whatever fraction it is. So first of all, we can just take these zeros off. We have 50 over 18, half and half. I'm just going to kind of do my math up here so I don't, or I can do it down here, I guess. Half of 50 is 25, 9. Is there anything that can go into 25 and 9? No. So let's say we have 25 pi over 9 radian. Okay, so actually what I'm going to do though is I'm going to turn this into a mixed number so that it'll make it easier to see what's actually happening here. X is equal to negative, and then 9 can go into 25. How many times? Twice? 3 times? Twice. With 7/9 2 and 7/9 pi. Okay, and the reason I'm doing this is because this, watch this you guys, 2 and pi, that's once around the circle, right? And so then I just have 7/9 pi left. So what am I talking about? What I'm talking about, negative is just a direction. Okay, so that means I start here and I go negatively. There's my angle that's 2 pi, negative, right? And then if I go another negative 7/9, which would be somewhere over here, okay, that's going to be negative 2 7/9 pi, or negative 25 pi over 9. Okay, and a coterminal angle, this would be 9. Let's go back to that 7/9. I like to use that better. Let's go back to 2 7/9 pi. So if I'm going to go I could go positive and hit that same angle, right? So this would be 9/9 pi, and then I would need to go 2 more ninths, okay? 9/9 is a whole pi, 9/9, and then plus 2 more ninths would get me to this negative. I made it a little too far over, so it's not going to look like it's correct, okay? That's going to get me to that negative 2 7/9, so 9, 10, 11. So positive 11 over 9 pi is going to be coterminal with negative 25 pi over 9. All right, so 13 pi over 12 radians 2 degrees. So I'm going to start with my same pi over 180. I know there's pi radians, and 180 degrees is equal to 13 pi over 12 radians. So that 13 pi over 12 is going to be all in the numerator, because that's all of the radians, over x, because this time I'm looking for degrees, right? So this time when I cross multiply, I'm going to get x times pi is equal to 180 times 13 pi over 12. Okay, and let's see, if I simplify this, well, first of all, if I have pi on both sides, that's just going to cancel. And then 180, is 180 divisible by 12? Could be. It would make it nice if it was. 180 divided by 12. Cool, 15. So that just means I have 15 times 13 is equal to 195. Okay, so x is equal to, what I did was, I know 12 can go into 180 15 times, and then all I have left over is 15 times 13, which was 195. So x is 195 degrees. So it's easier in degrees to think about coterminal angles because we think in degrees. That's like how we do it. So let's say 195. This is 180, right? So let's say 195 is somewhere here. So this is something, we can go back and do this with the radians too. We can say an angle that's coterminal with 100, and this is probably way easier. You guys are like, why didn't you say this in the first place? If this is 195 degrees, another angle that ends there is going to be, if we add 360 degrees to 195, we're going to end at the same place, right? So if we just add a whole circle, those are going to be coterminal. 5, 9, and 6 is 15, carry a 1, 3, 4, 5, 555. So 555 degrees and 195 degrees are coterminal because they end at the same spot. So what does that look like in radians? If you take whatever radians you got and you add an entire circle, but instead of adding 360 degrees, you are adding a circle in radians, which is 2 pi. That'll always give you a coterminal angle. And let's see here. So do you guys want me to go back and do one of those with you? Let's say we have that negative 25 pi over 9. Okay. well, let's add 2 pi, but it has to have a common denominator, right? So if I add 2 pi, but I want a denominator of 9, that's going to be 18 pi, because 18 divided by 9 is 2. So now, negative 25 plus 18 is 7, right? So I have negative 7 pi over 9. So negative 7 pi over 9 is also a coterminal angle because I simply added 2 pi, which is one entire circle. Okay, last one. Last one, we're going to start again with, I know that there are pi radians in 180 degrees, and that is going to be equal to, I have to put this whole fraction of 20 pi over 9 on the numerator, because that's the entire radians, over x. So when I cross multiply, I get x times pi is equal to 180 times 20 pi over 9. Okay, so first step, I know my pi's are going to cancel, right? 9 can go into 180 20 times. So x is equal to 20 times 20, which is 400 degrees. So 400 degrees and 20 pi over 9 are the same thing. And then if I just add or subtract an entire circle, I could subtract 360 from 400, and a coterminal angle would be positive 0. 40 minus 36 is 4. 40 degrees. So 40 degrees and 400 degrees are the same angle, right? So if 40 degrees is right here, and then I go another 360 degrees, I get to 400. Okay, so 400 and 40 degrees are coterminal with each other. I'm going to stop this one, start the next one.